We're ready to rock?
Well, there's no viewers yet, so give it a second.
All right, we'll see if anyone jumps
So we're gonna go people in the chat.
What says there's no viewers right now?
Is it the top?
Oh, that's, oh yeah, Black Oak.
Black Oak, they probably jumped in a little bit.
Thank you. We'll kick it off in a minute. We'll give it a minute. Is this too close to my knees on you? I'm just a big guy.
Sitting next to Spencer here.
We'll see if my mom pops on, then we'll kick it off.
Lucy.
We got, yeah, CrossFit. Good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Crew's rolling in.
You guys ready to roll? Give it a minute.
We'll give it another minute. We
Okay,
can kind of
yeah.
create some healthy banter here. If you guys are dropping in here, just say something in the chat, say hello. It's a good visual for us to know who's tuning in and watching. I don't know if we're gonna, oh, got 9 viewers now.
Heck yeah.
We're in.
Yeah, so we got a handful of people.
Everyone's gonna sneak away from lunch.
I know, right? We'll try and make it entertaining for you all. All right. Well, James here. Welcome to our first Hampland Town Hall, and we're really excited to have you all here. We're excited to share kind of the review of what we have with you, and just most importantly, just make another touch point and connect with everyone here a little bit. So one of the quick things, these guys are masked up. I have my mask, and obviously just trying to stick and adhere to our social distancing rules. We've all been tested and we're good to go, but just trying to make a good example. So rolling on from that, I'm going to introduce everybody and give you guys a lay of the land for what we have planned today. But like I said, first and foremost, probably not the easiest year for any of us. Certainly not the easiest year for you out there, athletes, coaches, affiliate owners. But one thing we've been really impressed with the entire time is just how you guys have persevered through, and no one has quit. It's been amazing to us and inspirational to all of us here, just how determined you all are to continue to make sure you can have access to fitness and you can share fitness with others and those you are coaching. And we have really been inspired by that and seen it as our charge to make sure that you have all the tools to do that. And that's really what this is about. Yes, to get some feedback and be able to interact with you all a little bit, but just to make sure that you continually have the tools to keep moving forward, keep working hard, and having fun. So James here, this is Travis, Spencer, Austin, and all the way down at the end we have Ruben. And whether you have known it or not, you've probably interacted with one of us, if not multiples of us, through either Slack or Instagram or email. And I'm going to give you a little bit more on these guys in a second. But I just want to kind of give you some goals of where we're headed for today. Like we already said, one of the big things for you today is just to give you more understanding of where we've been in 2020. And briefly, Austin will take he'll take the brunt of that. Where we are looking to go in 2021 with all of our programs, whether you're an affiliate or you're just in your garage gym going wild. We want to make sure that you have tools to just understand, utilize, and better implement everything we have to offer. So that's where we're headed, and I'm just going to kick it off and introduce each person here. Like I said, if you haven't met everybody, but first we'll start with Austin. As many of you may know, Austin and Spencer were the original founders of Hampland back in 2016, which really just started with 2 dudes and a passion and a love for fitness to try and share that with as many people possible. Spencer here, like I said, founder of the Hampland, and then 2 people you probably haven't met who I'm most excited to introduce you to, all the way down at the end, Ruben Coronado. He's up here in Boston with us now. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, and he just recently opened his own Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu studio, South Boston, BJJ. He's a CrossFit level 3, and he's worked with Austin a bunch, and that's kind of how we all got tied together down at Reebok CrossFit 1. And then to my left, someone who probably hasn't gotten enough camera time, though we've seen him pop up on the Ham at Home videos a little bit here and there. Travis Herbenek. He's an MIT grad. He holds a degree in, I don't know, I'm not even smart enough to know what he has a degree in, but electrical engineering as well as computer science. And Travis has been really instrumental with just helping us develop everything that we have to do on the digital side of things, especially with our graphic content. He's got a huge passion for photography and graphic design, and he's also a CrossFit level 3. I had the pleasure of working with him at my gym, CrossFit One Nation Boston, which I also own with Austin. A little rhyming right there. And then as far as what we all work on to share with you guys and the product that you guys see every day when you walk into the gym, myself, Spencer, and Ruben, we mainly focus on developing programming, class plans, and all the content that you see associated with that. Whereas Travis and Austin, what they mainly focus on is the design and implementation for those resources, and they do a lot in the way of receiving feedback from you all and making sure that we turn that feedback into something useful that you can continue to use in the future. So while we all kind of have our hands on a little bit of everything, those are some of the specific roles that we fall into. So where we're going to kick this off, and I'm going to get out of the way a little bit so Austin can chat with you, is just where we started the year in 2020, where we're ending the year, and what to look forward to in 2021. But just so we're not all sitting here like a bunch of zombies, we'll just have all these guys say hi to you there watching at home. Give them a little wave and a hi.
What's up, guys?
Perfect.
Hey guys.
So we'll roll with Austin here. Like I said, he's a good guy to talk about this because the ham plan, started with him and Spencer. So he's going to give you a little brief year in review.
Awesome. Thanks, brother. So the ham plan has grown a lot this year, and really from the perspective of our affiliates as well as our individuals. And I think a few things to think about from the ham plan. We started out years ago as just an individual program, and now we are in an individual and an affiliate program, but really the DNA of our program really does derive from our affiliate programming. It's something we'll talk about a little later on. But I think one of our more amazing stats throughout this year is that we grew 100% from our affiliates, and we're about at 100 affiliates. We started the year just under 50. And that's something that we're truly passionate about. We, as affiliate owners, as coach-owned affiliates, traveling around the world, going to gyms, it's something to be able to support not only you as coaches, but your members is a big honor we do not take lightly. So really, really cool stuff there. We launched our Ham at Home program, and it was sort of this serendipitous moment within the year of the ham plan, where we've always talked about revamping and changing what was once called Power Hour, and then when COVID hit, we accelerated this notion of, hey, how do we rebrand this and change this, but also deliver more resources to our gyms and our people that are no longer in the affiliate. Thus, Ham at Home was born. So out of that, from zero Ham at Home members to many, we've seen a good amount of growth there. And in turn, we've bolstered our individual offerings almost well over 5 times where we were last year. So an immense amount of growth in our individual programs, but that's also because we created new individual tracks, not only Ham at Home, but we branched off from our competitor track to Ham 90 and Ham 60, which we will chat about a little later on. And we also started some specialty tracks as well, which we'll talk about from some of the questions we got. We welcomed Wodify as a new provider for our affiliates, which is really nice. So now the big thing for us is integration with affiliates. So SugarWod was a huge step for us in 2019. We were able to now push to affiliates from that perspective, and now we're able to push to affiliates with Wodify. So that was a nice, really opportunity for us. And growth going forward into 2021 is really just staying the course, and and as we go through answering a lot of the question is, for our affiliates, how do we provide more value? How do we create a conduit from us to you, from education? Programming is one thing, and we'll talk a lot about how we want to make sure we keep refining that process. But how do we give all of the information and knowledge that we have to every one of you? And that's going to be one of our big goals, and we'll do it in a few mediums, which we'll talk about. And for our individuals, continually refining our individual programs, making them tighter, making them sharper, and also evolving with the times. And part of that is what we learned from in the past with COVID, and into lockdown for a lot of us, back into the gyms, maybe for some of us back out of the gyms, is being able to pivot quickly and deliver to not only our affiliates but our individuals. And that's something we want to be able to do, is learn from COVID. And it's been challenging, but I think we've taken away some positives of how we can really deliver to our community, whether it's locally or around the world. So that's really where we want to be able to go to, and we'll talk a little bit more, some specifics as we go on.
Yeah, and it's a pretty interesting thing, I think, for all of us. We each have specific things that we're passionate about in terms of programming and training. And, we have our own little desires of where we want to see parts of Ham Plan grow. But the collective idea is always to make it better. But I think similarly, a lot of the questions we received from you all out there were some very specific questions related to the program. There were some broader questions, but one of the, there's always something you get better at when it comes to fitness, which I think we all understand really well. But one of the questions I saw pop up a couple different ways was that someone had mentioned that we know everyone loves to throw around barbells, Austin, but performance in gymnastics movements can be really important. What about growing specific programming tracks like a gymnastic track or an endurance track? What are you thinking, or what are you seeing that we're going to do as we move into 2021 to address maybe some more specific fitness weaknesses and strengths?
Yeah, great question. So I think that a few things that we've learned and that we want to keep going through is we started with our lifting track this year, which was a new specialty track, and really just we pulled it from our competitor programming, and we're still refining it and bolstering it as we speak. But that's something that we really do want to keep delivering on, is that we have our lifting track, and that will keep getting better. And maybe over time we'll start to deliver a few more, but the big thing is our ebooks. And with the ebooks, we have our Road to 300 Pound Snatch that I was never on, but Spencer was on that road. And then we also have our Keep Calm and Press On. So we're going to do a combination of both, but we're huge fans of the ebook, because oftentimes when it comes to specific training, very rarely is it a year-long process for people. Maybe it becomes a 1 month, 2, 3, 4, maybe even 6 month journey. And that's something that you can overlay on top of our programming tracks, or even for your gyms, deliver that to your people as a fun challenge or opportunity. So you're going to see a lot more of ebook content in 2021, but also beyond that is outsourcing from us. You're going to see that, yes, there's a lot of knowledge here, but you probably don't want to learn how to swim from me. But there are other people out there that we have good relationships with. So you're going to start to see us really leveraging the skill sets within our community and our relationships to deliver even more of these specific type of programs, but also in conjunction with our programs that we're offering currently.
And I see that I think Evan asked a question in our chat. And we're going to get to that next. Austin's going to talk to you guys about communication. I have one more little question I wanted to ask, and this one is near and dear to my heart, as when I came onto the HAM plan, my focus was the affiliate part of it. But Trish from Babylon CrossFit asked, in terms of coaches' feedback, how can we help develop affiliate owners and their coaches from a coaching development perspective, aside from just pointing them toward other resources outside of HAM plan? What else can we have them do, or how else can we help them on the affiliate level with their coaching development?
Gosh, Trish, a question right after my own heart here. It's if you were to say, what is our big overarching goal, not only for 2021, but as a company, the HAM plan, it is to provide resources and education to all of our members, specifically to our affiliate owners and coaches, because of the opportunity you have to affect your members. So you're going to see our content really driving towards that next year. You're going to see our videos. You're going to see a lot of tutorials. We're going to start to, our lesson plans will start to deliver more and more educational content from weekly videos. Again, if you think about what we started this year with our videos, where you see James, in the PDF every week talking to you, think about that as just the tip of the iceberg of content that we're going to deliver to you to be able to put this into play. And beyond that, leveraging other tools like how do we set up coaching development, setting up workshops. There's a lot of opportunities that we want to be able to take advantage of between all the experience that we have and how to deliver that to you. So that's going to be our big goal, and have no fear, probably by the end of 2021, you're going to have to pick and choose what we are delivering to you as opposed to wanting more. And that's going to be our goals. Oh, I want to do this course or this environment, training with the coaches, whatever it might be, as opposed to I want more. You're going to put us on mute as opposed to reaching out to us for more educational content by the end of the year.
I love that. I'm excited we have some cool stuff in store, and I'm excited to see how you all like that. In terms of delivering more to you guys as athletes and as coaches, I think, we've talked a lot about this year, especially as COVID hit, and amongst each other, just how to communicate better. And I think one of the things that's really important and also interesting to us, and I don't know if all parts of our HAM plan community know this, but we have a really international community. We have affiliates following us from Italy and Germany and everywhere in between, as well as individual athletes all over the globe, which I think is a really neat thing for you all to be proud of. But coming to us from Raphael at CrossFit Cleve in Germany, he said, hey, will you let us know what is your communication strategy via different tools? Because we offer communication on Instagram and Slack and email and YouTube, and we offer the program on SugarWOD and Wodify. How are we going to communicate, effectively with everybody?
Yeah, great question. So I think there's a few sort of think about trickle down here from sort of most informal to the most formal types of communication and what streams would be best, and also the most speedy from a response perspective. Think about social media in general, whether it's Facebook or Instagram, as sort of informal communication. Whether it's posting PRs, reaching out about, whether it's something within that, a post or something like that. But that's a good way for us to see what you're doing. I love it, I spend a lot of the time on our social media, so if you tag us, if you see that stuff, I'm always aware of that stuff, and I really appreciate that. So it's a really good way to communicate PRs. When I see that, that's probably where I get the most excited. And then from there, we check down. We have YouTube think about YouTube as a one-way form of communication, where it's where anything we deliver out, very rarely, there's comments and things like that, but don't spend too much time there. Whatever we're delivering there is from us to you. We're not going to get too much back from you to us through YouTube. Now, for our affiliates, our Slack channel is probably for our most formal communication, but also the quickest. Programming updates, if you have quick questions, and for those who have been leveraging this tool, it's been great. Hey, you had a question about how this was in Wodify or SugarWOD or whatever it might be. It's really great because we can respond back quickly, and we can do it in a personal thread, or we can let the entire community know if it's something that will affect everybody. And then we have email, and email communication will come from us to you in sort of big news and big announcements, as you guys probably have seen in the past. But we'll keep those sparingly because we don't want to flood the inbox. But you can always also set up a quick call with me if you need. You guys have that link. It's also in my email if I've emailed you guys. So if you guys want to chat that way. So then finally, the best way for our whole community is to leverage really SugarWOD right now is where we see the majority of our athletes, and that's where you see all of us interacting on different tracks, and that's going to be a great way to ask whether it's questions on the day or just nice community interaction is going to be on SugarWOD, since its tool is really powerful and useful and simple, just to give some, whether it's fist bumps, which Spencer's a big fan of, or actual specific questions. So those are some ways that we can leverage communication.
And one of the questions that came through on the chat there was, do we have plans to try and pursue other programming tracks on other platforms? For example, I think Evan asked, are we looking to try and maybe push individual programming to Wodify? Are we going to continue to pursue other platforms to try and offer our programming on?
So it's a great question. So Wodify will always be an affiliate-based platform because that's what they do. So that's so if you are an affiliate, Wodify is that tool, but beyond that, that's where that will start and finish because that's their functionality. SugarWOD is a blend of everything. Right now, we're relatively cautious about expanding to other platforms just because we do want to consolidate our community the best we can. And we see SugarWOD as a really good tool for that. So and there are a couple other apps out there with a good amount of individuals that are subscribed to it. But again, we see SugarWOD as a tool that allows us to communicate and also develop community across our programs, and it also allows us to communicate pretty quickly. So we've explored, I've talked to a lot of other companies, but right now we want to really be hyper-focused on communicating, and a great tool with that is through the app, and SugarWOD is probably the most convenient for users and also for us.
That's awesome. And I think what's really important about that consolidation piece, and one of the things that became really important to us this year, and I know each of these guys can speak to this, I mean, Spencer and Ruben and Austin have all been coaching, just like you, if you're coaching at an affiliate or running an affiliate, all the way through shutdown to doing Zoom classes, to opening the doors again and doing social distancing in the gym, making sure that the programming we are writing, the resources we are writing get to you guys in a reliable way, in a way that's easy for you all to understand and implement. And having those obstacles this year of things like COVID and lockdowns, I think has caused all of us to take a much closer look at our programming in order to make sure that it's as easy for you to use as possible. And one of the biggest places that started this year, and something that's near and dear to my heart, like I said when I came on to Ham Plan, Austin and Spencer mainly focused on the individual side of it. My passion was really within the affiliate side of it and the class plan piece, and just seeing how the affiliate side has developed this year. And like Austin mentioned, where we started at the beginning of the year, we've essentially doubled the affiliates in our community, which is an amazing thing. A number that I always had in my mind, and to see it reach there has been really incredible. But as far as where we're going is probably even more interesting for you. And some of the big things we want to make sure you understand as far as the affiliate programming is concerned, one of them Austin has already touched on, and that's really the coaching development piece. It kind of, you want to think about affiliate programming has, 2 or maybe 3 prongs, and one of them is just the programming itself. Are we sharing something with you that is easily digestible and easy to implement for your athletes at your gym, regardless of the resources you have at your gym? That's one of the big driving forces behind how we write our affiliate programming and how we put together our class plans. The other half of that is that coaching development piece. I don't think any of us here really ever want you guys from an affiliate perspective to coach just like James or to coach just like Spencer. We want you to take the good lessons that we've learned and try and filter that through your coaching personality and your coaching style. So the other big half of that and focus this year is to make sure, as Austin said, that in the class plan, in our resource materials, you have a clear stepped path as far as how can I use these tools and develop my coaches or develop myself if I'm the only one coaching at my affiliate. The other thing that I'm really excited to talk about is just a continued focus on making sure that when we do a monthly focus, when we have a certain goal for a month, that the programming continues to drive to that in a way that your athletes can see relatively easily. We know most athletes don't track what they do in the gym. I mean, I track workouts, but I still don't do it regularly. I don't do it terribly well. Travis has been a huge help with this year as far as kind of putting pictures to words and really pushing us to understand how do we track better the things that we're trying to make happen in the affiliate. For example, tracking maybe specific movements that a monthly focus will target. And I think there's no better month than this month, December, to take a closer look at how we're going to use the monthly focus to continue to drive interest from your members, engagement from your members, as well as see actual results. And the focus this month is Remember December. And we've never done this before. Part of me thought it was a crazy idea, but these guys seemed on board with it. The entire month is essentially retests from throughout the year. And the goal of that isn't to make you relive your worst workout, even though that will probably happen. The goal of that really is to give you coaches a chance to see not only how are my athletes doing, right? We had time off from quarantine outside of the gym. There are probably some skills athletes are gonna need more attention on as we roll into 2021. But it's also time for you as a coach to reflect on what am I really good at coaching? Am I as effective or more effective at coaching muscle ups than I was 6 months ago? And that's part of the other half of this month with Remember December. But while we move into 2021, we're gonna keep driving home all of the resources and making sure that you guys have clear eyesight on those resources that we're bringing to the affiliate program, and make sure that there's not a lot of learning that has to happen in terms of how to use those resources. We're going to continue to evolve and provide video content support for affiliates, both coaches and athletes. Like I said, one of the big focuses right now from a programming perspective of the affiliate is to just make sure, how do we present, how do we implement, how do we measure the monthly focuses in a way that's easy for coaches to share with their athletes and easy for coaches to extract information from on what they need to work on going forward. And the other little thing coming in 2021, probably pretty soon, which is last year we had all of our member affiliates submit workouts, and from that we curated a month of programming. So we had a whole month program by you, which was one of my favorite months. You guys put your heart and soul into it, and there was some really excellent programming that came out of it. And we're going to bring that back sometime later in the spring, which I'm really excited to see more of the workouts as our community has grown from every corner of the globe. And probably the final thing for the affiliate is this. Like I said, just to make sure you guys know all the tools at your disposal this year, one of the biggest things we did is we made sure our affiliates now have access to all of our programming tracks. We want to make sure that not only do you have that access, but you also have the tools on how to use them. And one of the most important tools I think that you received this year, and we really had a fun time building, was the Ham at Home program. And this originally started out kind of as a Band-Aid to fix the issue of lockdowns that were starting because of COVID. And Ruben has had a really big hand in helping us develop the Ham at Home program and just giving us feedback on it. So I'll let him kind of talk about that next program. Why did we start the Ham at Home, and you know, where did it begin and where is it now?
Yeah, so kind of like James said, it started off as a Band-Aid. I was coaching at Reebok CrossFit One, and at the start of the pandemic, we all had to shut down the gyms and work out from home. So I started tailoring the affiliate workouts to meet people's requirements, whether they had tons of equipment or no equipment. And me, myself, I'm sure you guys have seen my living room. It's plates, barbells, dumbbells, bikes in the living room. And so I was like, oh, how can we deliver the affiliate workout with just maybe 1 or 2 dumbbells? And that's kind of how we started is, hey, what can I do with the dumbbell while still doing what the Ham Plan is doing?
Yeah, we see the 2 programs. And the Ham at Home was originally, the goal was to take that DNA and you know, give it to the Ham at Home program from the affiliate. But what were some things that you kind of didn't expect about the Ham at Home program? How did it change? Because it surprised the heck out of me, and I think all of us here in terms of how quickly it grew. But what were some of the things you saw change with it and didn't expect?
Yeah, so one of the things I didn't expect was, just like you said, how big it got, where 50 plus people were logging scores on a daily basis. People were never missing workouts. They were logging 7 days a week, and it kind of formed its own like tight-knit community of people that were working out from home with no equipment, and even people that have never done CrossFit started doing the Ham at Home during the quarantine period.
Yeah, and what was interesting to me too, like Ruben said, you know, there was this almost overnight community that kind of exploded on the Ham at Home program. And there was a lot that we didn't expect. And when we started to set up this town hall, and we sent out requests for questions, we received the most questions and feedback by and large from the Ham at Home community. And you guys have been really excellent at pushing us to continually developing that program, but and reminding us of what is going well with it. But where do you see, Ruben, the Ham at Home program going as we move into 2021? What's changed, and what do you see changing?
Yeah, so one of the ways that we want to implement or improve this program is by making it almost its own standalone program while also still having the DNA from the affiliate program. One way we're going to do this is by implementing benchmarks and retests. We'll have, you know, just like the affiliate program where we see our benchmarks, Ham at Home will have its own benchmarks. Another way we're going to actually implement this is by adding rest days on Thursdays and Sundays, just like I mentioned. A lot of Ham at Home users work out 7 days a week. And along with the rest days, we're also going to implement non-functional Fridays. We have been teasing it in the programming here and there a little bit, but what this is going to do is going to add a little more variance to the Ham at Home program, so you're not just swinging the dumbbell and getting your heart rate up every single day.
And I like all that stuff, and one of the other things I'm really excited for, and I think Travis will touch on this later, so I'll try not to jump into it too much, is just creating more onboarding resources for the Ham at Home program. So, you know, if you have you know, somebody you're living with or a friend of yours who hasn't quite taken that leap into the gym, just to make it really easy for them to understand how do they implement this programming at home. I mean, one of the big goals, and I think Travis came up with this tagline, was this idea of no equipment, no problem. It was really just this fitness anywhere approach, and it's been really fun to watch that grow. On the note of equipment, one of the questions we received the most as well was, hey, I do have some extra gear at home, or maybe you purchased some extra gear throughout quarantine because it went on longer than a lot of us wanted it to. What about those athletes who say, hey, are you going to give barbell or rig, you know, like pull-up options for Ham at Home, because we're not currently really doing that?
Correct. So what we ended up doing is creating the Never Miss a Workout package, which you get both the Ham at Home and the Ham 60. So hey, I have a rower, maybe a pull-up bar, and a barbell at home. I can mix and match the 2 workouts from the Ham 60 and the Ham at Home and make it its own, more tailored to you, because I may not have the same equipment as Spencer, and Spencer may not have the same as James. So it's kind of up to you to look at both programs and see what you do or don't have.
And what I like about this, and Ruben, you touched on this earlier, and I think all of us can probably identify with this, is is the idea that we really try hard to make sure that all of our programs, from our affiliate to our Ham Compete to our Ham 60 and our Ham 90 programs and our Ham at Home, share some DNA. There's some similarities across where you could kind of follow the Ham at Home and then pick up on the Ham 60 later on in the week or the month. And I know all of us here have kind of different time commitments we have throughout the day, and it's nice for us to be able to have all of these programming tracks that have a shared DNA, because Austin can follow the Ham Compete to a T, and I can work on the Ham 60, but we still have shared some workouts along the way, so we still can compare and compete. Now, as far as developing the Ham 60 and Ham 90, this was something I think that was sitting in the back of our heads for a while, and we weren't quite sure how to introduce this and really what it would mean for our members. Ruben, kind of talk to us about how Ham 60, what it is, and really how it developed.
Yeah, so Ham 60 is our 60-minute program that has the emphasis on both conditioning and strength. Since we don't have 90 minutes to 2 hours a day to work out sometimes, we wanted to maximize your time in the gym and make sure that we're hitting all aspects of fitness, both our strength, both our conditioning, so that way I can warm up, get my workout in, get my cool down, be out of the gym, and go on with the rest of my day.
I mean, personally, for me, I really love the Ham 60 program just because it's kind of fit my lifestyle lately. But Ruben, one of the things I wanted to ask you is kind of moving forward, how are we continually separating Ham 90 and Ham 60 from Compete? How do you see those two programs developing throughout the rest of the year, or into next year?
Right, so like I said, the 60 program is balancing strength and conditioning, where our 90 program has balancing of strength and conditioning, while also including higher skill movements such as rope climbs and muscle ups and even sometimes pegboards, and just more emphasis on that higher skill stuff if you have that extra time to put into your fitness.
Yeah, the goal-oriented piece I think is really nice, especially for those of you out there who might not have enough time to chip all the way through our Ham Compete program, or just who are always left wanting something that's a little bit extra, or maybe have a full garage gym and the Ham at Home piece doesn't fit all of your needs and desires. What was also important to us in creating these programs was trying to give more direction, because the Ham Compete program is big. That's been one of our big focuses this year, is making sure you guys, like I said, have just more education on how to use the tools that we offer. But the last thing we are going to talk about here as far as programming goes is our Ham Compete programming. And I know Spencer's excited to talk about that. Like we said, this Ham plan started, like I said, just two guys in a dream to share their individual programming with the world. Both Spencer and Austin, when they were competing, obviously just by looking at them, they have different strengths and different weaknesses, and they loved training together. And as far as addressing those strengths and weaknesses is how the Ham Compete program was born. But it's been a heck of a year for our competitors. So I would say to you, Spencer, what are some of the biggest changes that you've seen occur to our Ham Compete program from when you first started programming it up until now?
Yeah, I mean, when Austin and I first created this thing, it was like, hey, we're doing some programming, you're doing some stuff specific to you, I'm doing some stuff specific to me, let's throw it out there and see if anyone else wants to follow it. And that's really about as far as we got. And all the way up until now, I think the notes and the education that we deliver to our competitors, as well as our other tracks, are second to none. And now that we're giving you guys all of this information and all of this education, and now we can actually teach you guys how to do this stuff, why we're doing it, and more importantly, deliver this stuff not just to competitors, but to everyone out there that's interested in fitness. And that comes through obviously all of the tracks that we offer, but specifically to the Ham Compete. Not everyone wants to compete at the CrossFit Games, and that's awesome. Even if you just want to train 2-3 hours a day just because you love to train, that is the track for you. And everyone in between, whether you're doing local competitions, you want to be good in the open, you want to get to one of those sanctionals, and everything in between.
Yeah, when we sat down at the beginning of the year, that was really well said. And we talked about kind of revamping the competitors program. I remember we were talking about, what's our goal? And Austin, I think, had really discussed this idea of, we're not just providing variance and volume and intensity, we also want to provide education. And that's something that's really near and dear to us. Like Spencer said, it's like you don't just have to be a games athlete to do the compete program, or you could do HAM 60 and still be a competitor. What it has to do with is your goals. And I know from these guys and feedback we've received from you, the push to improve the notes and to give you, more insight into the lessons we've learned from competing, we've learned from coaching, at all different levels. That's been one of the biggest pieces of the programming. So yeah, absolutely. If you just want to go into the gym and throw down and not think, the programming is there for you to do so with all the resources it has. But if you're the thinking athlete, there's certainly all those details there along the way to help you do that, which I think is really cool. So if you're not reading the notes, make sure you continue to do that. Ruben always reminds us that. One of the other things I wanted to ask you, Spencer, because I know I've learned a lot from all of our athletes on all the tracks, just kind of seeing what you guys do in Sugar Watt and receiving feedback from you on Instagram and watching the PRs you've made. What are some of the things, Spencer, you've learned from our HAM Compete athletes over the last year?
I've learned that all of you guys are savages, absolute beasts, and just always intensity, and just constantly getting after it, which, don't get me wrong, isn't a bad thing. You guys are, where you are because of that intensity. But you have to remind yourself that we don't need to get that intense all the time. And I think back to, my competing days and James and Austin and, these guys next to me, and we didn't always go so hard. We have to work on those skills, and we have to pull that intensity back a little bit to get better at those things, like the weaknesses, such as what if it's lifting, what if it's rope climbs, what if it's pressing, you name it, fill in the blank. You have to slow some things down. So that would be one big thing, kind of pushing forward into 2020 and making sure that we educate you guys and put those things into the programming as far as days that we're not going to push the intensity so hard, and make sure you guys understand that. So that's a big point taken forward.
Yeah, and Spencer's right. I think we've put an enormous amount of energy into educating our affiliate athletes and coaches. And we want to bring some of that to our other tracks as well, and make sure those resources are tuned up for you, and hopefully start to do some things on rest days to just give you guys more insight into not just what you're doing in the gym, but what are you doing outside of the gym to have that contribute to a better lifestyle. So on the note, I see a little question there from Trish at Babylon. On the note of programming tracks, and Austin touched on this earlier, but she asked about, is there going to be a mom track? Because I know we have the dad sesh, the famous dad sesh, which we give Austin a hard time about. But what about moms out there?
I love it. Well, just to be clear, the dad, I just call it the dad sesh because I'm a dad, but it's also, equal opportunity. It can also be the
and none of us are moms.
Yeah, none of us are moms. So, but I do know some moms that, tag the mom session. But more specifically, kind of circling back to the concept of specific programs specific to populations or people with different goals, our ebook is going to be our ebook catalog is going to start to grow. One of our first ebooks we're going to work on to get to you guys early next year will actually be towards moms and new moms that are coming back to the gym, and we're going to be working with moms that have gone through that process to help us publish that. So specifically to that postpartum athlete that's looking to get back into the gym, but also specific exercises and tools that can not only help that athlete get back into the gym, but also develop some confidence as well, maybe from when they're at home getting back into the gym as well. So have no fear that we are really looking to expand the catalog of offerings to all different populations, but maybe we'll change it to the dad and mom sesh. Just so to make it clear there, but
the parent trap sesh.
Yeah, love it.
So moms, we're coming for you.
Right.
Some other little programming questions that we had here. Like I said, a lot came from the Ham at Home crowd, but one we had from Zach at Seaward CrossFit, and I'll direct this to Spencer because he has some really good insight on this. Will the programming, what are we doing in the programming to help athletes ramp up for the CrossFit Open?
So getting ready for the Open, we're going to have a lot of things coming out in January as the Open is now moved back to its original spot at the end of February going into March. And you guys can expect, as we've seen here in December, some of those repeats throughout the year of 2020. We will see some repeats going into the getting ready for the Open and testing and retesting some of those previous Open workouts. You can definitely expect some of that stuff to come up.
And on that note, I know we touched on this a little bit too, but this came from my Ham at Home athlete, Zach, and like Ruben said, we're going to do more to give you guys direction and options to take a rest day. Just because we program 7 days a week on the Ham at Home track doesn't mean you need to work out 7 days a week, though you can if you want to. But to Spencer on this one, what does an ideal rest day look like? And I know Austin has given you a lot of grief about your rest day schedule versus Austin needs an off switch. That's kind of the moral of that story.
My rest days are a little bit different than Austin's. I take full advantage of the couch and maybe getting outside of the gym, whereas my good friend Austin here is, you're likely to find him in the gym going for a PR 2K on his rest days. But no, all jokes aside, I think it's very important that you do establish 1, if not 2 rest days a week. If you are establishing 2 rest days a week, that one of those rest days just be complete rest. Get outside of the gym, go grocery shopping, hang out on the couch, hang with your family, do something other than your traditional fitness. Great quote is regularly learn and play new sports. Get out there and do something you don't have usually do. And then on that other rest day, if you have to get into the gym, you have to get on some piece of cardio equipment, get on the rower, but it needs to be, at a nice leisurely pace just to kind of get out some of that lactic acid and kind of get your muscles moving. And maybe it doesn't hurt to get on a foam roller or a lacrosse ball and do some good stretching. So, but that's generally what some good rest days would look like.
I like that. I like a good rest day as well. One of the other questions I wanted to ask was just to Ruben, because I think he touched on this in the Ham at Home piece. And I think this is good for those of you who, maybe even if you have the world's nicest home gym, maybe you're on the road and you just have to get a workout in, but just kind of thinking about this from a strategic standpoint and just a conceptual standpoint of how do we do fitness better. What have you learned, Ruben? What have we learned about creating GPP programming for people with limited or no access to equipment? What are some best practices that you have learned to still pursue goals like skill and strength when you don't have a lot of stuff around you?
Yeah, so I learned that you can use a dumbbell a million different ways and mix up body weight movements 1,000 different ways and still get really, really fit. I didn't touch a barbell for a few months, and I'm not as strong as Spencer, but even after all that time away from a barbell, I still felt really fit and still really strong and was able to, hit some PRs in the gym, even just touching a dumbbell.
Yeah, and I think it just goes back to that idea of variance. It is okay not to always have the sexiest workout on paper and a barbell and a set of rings, but don't forget how powerful that consistency piece is. And we're going to continue giving you guys some tools and ideas of how do we get fit even with limited equipment. I was going to move on because I want to get Travis and some awesome stuff to share with you. I saw one other question pop up, and Austin actually talked to me about this recently. So there's a question here from, Matt. Matt says, hey, I'm a Ham 90 user. He said, any general suggestions or guidance for the tracks and levels for masters athletes?
Yeah, it's a great question from Matt. So traditionally, the masters athlete term is a very vast term, specifically in the CrossFit world, where a 35-year-old is a master, and so is a 75-year-old. And obviously, we have different goals, and we're at a very different point in life for those.
Or
different
me
athletes.
versus Austin.
That's right. so what is your inner age? I think that the big thing is, from a general perspective, Ham 90 mat is absolutely the track that we recommend for masters. And really, what we're saying with that is probably athletes that are looking for a little more than just, I want to go out into the gym or the garage for 30 or 40 minutes and work out. I maybe have more specific goals, and have a little more time, but also I don't have all the time in the world. So from that perspective, Ham 90 delivers that nicely. Now, again, when you look at the levels, RX is probably going to be a little robust from a loading and skill perspective, depending on where you're at in your fitness journey. So level 2, depending on the workout, if it's a higher skill or higher loading workout, might be a really good place to start. and even hold through. And that's where the notes come into play, is understanding the stimulus. And this is going to be really important, where as we get older, we want to worry less about what am I putting on the whiteboard, am I RX'd or not, or am I hitting the intended stimulus? I.e., how many reps unbroken, how long should this take, how many reps, and that's what we're really focusing on from a competitor perspective, in putting that type of information in the notes. And again, as Ruben highlighted, the HAM 90 gives us touches on higher skills. And that's oftentimes where masters athletes need to spend more time to accumulate volume anyway. We don't want to beat your bodies up, but a good way to start to practice and get better is through skill movement. And that's often where we have the biggest opportunity for improvement.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. And one of the other things that I really like that Austin drives us home, and I know this has been one of our big programming focuses this year, is just attention to the notes. I know, like I said, sometimes you just want to get in the gym and move, and to do that, like he said, the level 2 is a great place to start for masters. But I think it's good to remember too that, you know, all of us don't follow one specific track all of the time. I know me personally, I've done some ham at homes. I steal a lot from the competitors piece. I steal a lot from the ham 60 piece. But don't be afraid to reach out and ask questions, you know, because we're not just writing it down and throwing it at you guys. You know, we're in the thick of it with you, not only just coaching from the affiliate side, but actually doing the programming too. So keep that in mind. We've received a ton of questions from you about programming, and we're not going to get to all of them today. I have a nice list, some stuff we're going to reach out to you individually. You've given us some really fun ideas as far as resources you might need going forward, as far as, you know, for example, more direction on what do I do if I'm a master's athlete? What about the mom sesh? And things like that. We're going to kind of reach out to some of you individually, especially on those questions we received that had to do with nutrition. That's something we're going to continue to take a look at and provide you resources. Where I want to kind of direct this next, and what I'm really excited to set up for you, is just to kind of have Travis share some information with you, because despite all of the programming questions we received in getting ready for this town hall, one of the other questions I saw that kept popping up is, what are the big picture things you guys are thinking about in 2021? Not just detailed, how are we making the program better, but, you know, how does HAM Plan grow next? What are the big things you want to do? And Travis has had his hand in a lot of this, and I think he has a really good eye on it. So he's going to share some stuff with you guys as far as what's headed your way and where we are growing next.
Hey team, thanks for hanging in there. I know we're running close on time, so those of you that are getting that post-lunch sleepiness, I'll try to keep this as brief and as interesting as possible. The way I kind of wanted to go about this, I want to chat through ideas that we actually have for each program. We have some pretty cool things lined up for 2021, and I think one of the things that we were all talking about here as we were putting this together is we could have actually made this like 2 town halls. We could talk about all the things that we did in 2020, and then an entirely separate conversation for all the cool things we have in the pipe for you. So starting with really new HAM Plan members and individuals who are joining HAM Plan for the first time, really kind of specifically tailored to our HAM at Home track, is one of the things that we're looking at doing is providing some sort of structured onboarding or some sort of structured resources to get you guys in the door, to get you acquainted with the program, and to really allow you to kind of get the intricacy of the programming out of the way and just enjoy the workouts, enjoy the results, and have fun sweating out at the gym. And kind of really from a personal experience, he may be a little bit mad at me for sharing this. I actually got my brother to start doing HAM at Home, which was really cool for me. He was never a CrossFitter. He was an athlete in high school, but CrossFit was something foreign to him. And you know, sometimes I think hanging around all these guys who have been, I think, doing CrossFit longer than I've been alive, we kind of forget like what certain things mean to people, like AMRAPs and EMOMs and all those little acronyms make sense to us, but for someone who's maybe taking their first foray into the world of fitness and CrossFit, it's something new, and we really want to support those people, allow them to feel welcome. That way you can share HAM Plan with friends or family or people in your community who you just want to also enjoy that same experience and develop that same love of fitness for. We're also going to continue to build out other educational resources around HAM at Home, just specifically kind of as it tailors to that new athlete, so that it really feels like an experience that's not too big of a transition to shift from whatever fitness background, if any, that you may have had in the past. Ebooks is also something else coming up. Evan, I saw your question. Thanks for sending that over. You know, the concept of a subscription format for ebooks is really a great idea, and I think it's something that we're going to talk about a lot more as a team. Austin touched on it earlier, and I know James did as well. We have a couple of cool ebooks queued up for the beginning of quarter one of next year. One of those is that Mom Sesh ebook. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But expect a lot of this like unique content or content that while we have a lot of skills as a team, some sort of specialized expert level advice or expert level guidance is kind of going to be what we're going to be tailoring those ebooks toward. For our affiliates, this list is pretty long, so you guys should be fairly excited for that. The first one, and I would be remiss if I didn't say this, is we're obviously seriously thinking through the whole situation with COVID. We, I think, as much as anyone, have understood what that impact is like and have felt that. And as Austin really kind of uniquely said earlier, is our goal is to help you all out and provide whatever we can to support you through this pretty tough time, to be honest. So we have some cool ebooks queued up, actually right for the end of this year, as well as let's say January of next year, along the lines of, hey, my members are working out in masks now at my gym. No one likes working out in a mask, it's tough. What can I do to make that experience a little bit better for my members? And so we have some workouts that Spencer programmed up for us that will allow you to take your athletes through these masked up workouts. Additionally, we're also looking at providing resources of helping you set up your gym to weather or to take into account regulations or rules that you may have in your local community for the amount of people in there, for separation, for barriers, whatever the case may be. We have some really cool stuff specific to affiliates coming up on that front. The next piece, the piece that's kind of really passionate to me, is these guys have a whole ton of experience when it comes to programming and to CrossFit and to just doing CrossFit every single day. And the piece to me that's the most impactful and the most inspiring is how we deliver that. They have a lot of knowledge, and I want to deliver that and help deliver that in the most seamless or smooth way as possible to get all this good information out to y'all. So on that note, we have a lot of cool updates coming to our class plans. I know one of the things that I think if Austin calls me once a night, we talk about it every single night, is we want to get we want to provide more guidance on how to tailor or how to change specific days. We get a lot of questions on strength metcon. We want to be able to highlight those types of opportunities for you coaches and for your athletes, that if you have a class or a group, or it's just kind of the way you like to run your gym, that you want to get a little bit more lifting in, we're going to try to highlight opportunities like that. Another piece we've been hard at work at is filming movement demos. Austin's, I swear on here every single day, filming some sort of education and getting a chance to talk to you guys. And that's such an important thing to share. And so James and I have been having conversations about how can we share these movement demos and how can we give you more visual demonstrations of what a triple pretzel mega stretch is that I've never heard of before. That's the type of stuff that we like to deliver to you in a more seamless way in the class plan. So stay tuned for updates on that front. Additionally, this is probably where I'm going to geek out a little bit, but data visualizations and getting to see kind of the method behind the madness of how these guys program or how we tailor a month of programming based upon a monthly focus. We want to show you that through numbers and data and in a beautiful way that you can share with your members and share with your athletes and honestly just get kind of fired up at whatever we're doing for that month and really kind of seeing like a numerical peek behind the curtains, if you will. That may just be more for me than y'all, but I hope we'll get something out of that.
When Skynet takes over our programming and the Terminator shows up at your gym, it's Travis's fault. I just want you to remember.
No Skynet. Otherwise, another huge thing that we saw, Austin and James touched on this earlier, is the class plan videos that James films every single day. We've gotten a ton of really awesome feedback around those. And we have a couple more cool ideas that we can begin to blend into those class plan videos to hopefully provide your coaches a really cool resource and not calling you a horse, but to hear it from the horse's mouth, so to speak, is a really powerful tool. Lastly, all athletes, individual athletes or athletes in your affiliates or coaches, your athletes yourselves and enjoy working out and doing CrossFit, we have plans for y'all too. Specifically, one of the things that I'm most excited for is if you haven't checked it out, check out our new website. That was something we pushed, I guess it feels like a couple of months ago, but honestly, I can't keep track of time. The next addition to that website is going to be some sort of coach's corner or athlete's corner. Basically, it's going to be a resource hub like Austin and I have chatted about that's going to share podcasts and articles and videos and all sorts of information, of tidbits, of experience that this team has that I think is super valuable to share with y'all and hopefully will be really, really interesting. On that note of education, James touched on this earlier, this concept of enabling competitors with more resources on their off days. You know, Spencer and Ruben programmed some pretty challenging stuff for y'all, but you do have those rest days. Rest day doesn't mean that you just have to sit there and not think about your training. You can still lump that stuff in on the off days. There's a lot more to training than actually just being in the gym, as I'm sure we all know. There's nutrition and recovery and even mental headspace type things to think about. And so we have this concept of what we're kind of calling right now rest day reads, where we want to kind of share that stuff with y'all on your off day, maybe give you something to think about and give you a new lens to approach the next day of training. The final thing I really want to touch here is we're a bunch of guys up here, and we're definitely conscious of the fact that we have a relatively limited perspective. We're also all really fortunate and blessed to be surrounded by really strong and influential and powerful women who work out alongside us and who give us, honestly, a new perspective, a new way to look at fitness. And one of the things that we're going to work on, like Austin was talking about with the Mom Sesh, is we're going to continue to think through what resources can we provide to female athletes or to athletes who are a little bit different than us. So stay tuned for that. It's something that we're really excited about and something that we're really proud of is how diverse and how broad the hand plan community is, not only across nations, but across genders and across a whole bunch of unique identifying traits. So we're super excited to have that coming down the pipe as well. The last thing I really want to touch on here is more so an ask from you all is your feedback, your thoughts. Whenever you all have suggestions for us, that's incredibly helpful to us as a team. I know Austin gets super fired up when y'all shoot him an email with a suggestion or idea, and he promises that, yeah, we'll have that ready the next day. But in all seriousness, I would honestly love if we got more and more suggestions. And the affiliates, if you guys are in Slack, shoot me a DM. I would love to have the problem of having too many suggestions and too many ideas. And then when we do this again next year, to say, hey, based upon all the feedback that y'all have given us, here's this really cool program based upon some really cool foundational knowledge from guys that have been there and done that. And that creates a more useful tool and product and honestly a fun experience for you all. So really exciting stuff coming up for 2021. And I think we got a great team here that's going to work on it and put all that into play.
Awesome. That's a lot for you all. Couple things to wrap up on. I said our goal was to get this done under 60 minutes, and we're about there. Like Travis said, one of the biggest things we want to make sure you understand is just how humbled we have been throughout this process. I started this off by saying this has not been an easy year really for anyone. I know it's certainly been harder for some rather than others, but what we have just been continually, completely floored and impressed and humbled by is just how eager and determined you have all been just to continue to improve your lives and the lives of others through fitness. And it has just constantly reminded us to provide you more and to make sure you always have the tools to do that. And like Travis mentioned, we are really lucky to have a global community. So we can't tell you how influential, important, and necessary your feedback is to us. So please continue to share that. I know we didn't get to answer everybody's questions today that you all sent in. Trust me, we read them all. You'll be receiving maybe some individual responses to those if they were very specific questions. I have that list, as well as some of those questions for us really prompted us to kind of look at some different things for our programming. And keep your eyes out and ears open just for stuff coming to you early in 2021. But on behalf of myself and the entire Hand Plan team, thank you all so much for an amazing year in 2020, and we're going to continue and do everything in our power to continue that in 2021. So have a great holiday wherever you are, and we'll be celebrating, and have an awesome new year. And we'll see you all very soon. Thank you.
Bye, guys.